Brooks poking the bear, angering LeBron, and trying occasionally anyway to guard him, that it was just a super highway to the basket for LeBron and also for AD in that series, because Jaren Jackson will block shots and he haunts you because he's here, there, and everywhere. But he doesn't pack the power punch, the bricks in back pocket to be a rebounding threat against you. So to me, you had your way with those two teams, especially Golden State, because it's Kevon Looney or bust on the backcourt, right? Mm-hmm. This is a different beast you're up against, because this is beastly, this team. This team has played at a much higher level all year than Memphis, troubled with Jaws, all of his controversy swirling. And Golden State, as both Steve Kerr and Draymond said after the game, we were not a championship team all year long.
Well, you tried to tell us that you were. We tried to tell you that you weren't.
I totally agree.
Skip, how many times?
How many times they beat their chests and said, we're back, and no, you're back. They were trying to speak themselves back into existence, and it really did not work. Because in the closeout game in your building, Steph and Clay combined to have their worst shooting performance combined of their playoff career. And it's a long, lengthy, storied playoff career. So you benefited from that. You benefited from Memphis's trouble and Golden State's trouble. They were troubled.
What about our trouble? What about the injuries injury bug that besieged us all year long with AD and LeBron in and out of the lineup?
Are you healthy now?
That's all that matters.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, did Denver have any trouble? Did they have anything going on? Was anybody in trouble? Was anybody injured?
They've so far had a magic carpet ride.
Okay, then.
But obviously, let's restate the case. I believe that Rob Pelinka helped save LeBron's legacy, because he turned your whole team around when I least expected. Most people least expected it. You were 13th in the West. You were looking at missing the playoffs another year.
Let me ask you a question. If LeBron James not at the Lakers, what legacy is Rob Pelinka going to have? Okay. Does he have a championship? Yes or no?
Okay, he's got a bubble championship. I give you that.
Oh, well, hold on. Do you realize the 4 teams that's in the finals this year, where do they come from, Skip? So I guess the bubble's okay. So I guess it's legit.
What do you mean?
Because if I'm not mistaken, the team that competed for the bubble in the finals then, it was the Heat and Celtics, it was the Lakers and the Nuggets. Lo and behold, outside of the bubble, it's the Lakers and Nuggets, it's the Heat and the Celtics.
Okay, all right, but in the bubble, you took advantage of a Clippers team that I mutinied on Doc and wanted out of the bubble.
You had a 3-1 lead.
Okay, well, you took advantage. I thought it was going to be a collision course for you and the Clippers, and you escaped that. And you got to play the Nuggets, who weren't remotely as good as they are right now.
Are you sure your team, the Clippers, were going to be healthy? Because they haven't been healthy since. What makes you think that Paul George and Kawhi was going to be able to finish the series?
They were at that point, although Paul George, you could argue, was not mentally healthy, because he talked openly about how he was just unraveling psychologically in the bubble. He just couldn't take it
cabin
anymore.
fever.
He had
cabin fever. What we do,
Okay, so I think you do agree that Rob Pelinka's move turned your team around.
Yes,
all of his moves.
Skip, that's what he was supposed to do.
Okay,
why am I going to give him?
It's not that easy to do, because you agreed with me. You could see no way out from under Russell Westbrook.
Without doing what? Okay. Without giving up that
okay, so he gave up the first of those picks. Or maybe it wasn't that Rob gave it up. Jeannie finally wrote, she signed off on, okay, give it up, because we got to get out from under this cloud of Russell Westbrook. Correct. He also got rid of Patrick Beverley, which I thought was crucial, because he wasn't right for you. He was so against the grain that he was rubbing everybody the wrong way, even on his own team.
Right.
He was irritating.
He needs to be with a young team.
He does.
The veterans are not going to.
And he worked for the up-and-coming Timberwolves the year before in the playoffs, because it's like they all look to him for guidance and for big playmaking in crucial situations. He was not needed on this team. And then all the little big moves that added up to saving. It looked like LeBron, once again, for the second straight year, was going to miss the playoffs. I think you were of the mind they're going to miss the playoffs ahead of the trade deadline, right?
Yes.
And then you'd look back at the last, what would it be, 3 years back to the bubble. It wouldn't be a pretty sight for LeBron. And all of a sudden, the heavens have reopened. Right. And now you have a chance to go win it all.
Well, I would have loved to see how the Lakers would have fared had LeBron and AD not got injured the year after they won the championship, because it was a fast turnaround. Yeah. What did they have, 70 days in order to get ready from the time they won the championship until the time the regular season started? That wasn't nearly enough time. AD body starts to break down. We know he's not as durable as you would like to see a superstar player be.
Yep.
And LeBron was in year, 17, 18, and that fast turnaround definitely did not do his body well.
Okay. So in the bubble, you benefited from a roster that provided you two really big guys. You had Dwight and JaVale, and they were both playing a pretty high level, especially on the defensive end. So when you had to face a Jokic, you could play either.
We put 3 bodies at it. We could throw AD, we could throw JaVale, we could throw Dwight. Dwight did a great job of being physical with him.
He did. And all of a sudden, now it's kind of AD or bust. I don't know if Mo Bamba, I don't know what's going on with him, but he doesn't even dress. I don't know if he's still banged up.
I think he came back out for an ankle, eval of his ankle.
Okay. So the point is, you've got a 6'10", 5", as you call the big man, right? And he is going to have to play even bigger because he's up against a big front line.
Yeah, Jokic's 7 foot probably.
That's what I'm saying. He's definitely 7 foot. He doesn't jump. He doesn't play above the rim. He plays definitely below the rim. But I'm saying your degree of difficulty is a little higher this time than in the bubble against that guy.
Well, the degree of difficult, Skip, they're the number 1 seed. We're the 7th seed.
You might be the best 7 seed in the history of this tournament.
So
unless Miami's the best 8 seed in the history of this tournament, right?
You can make that case. It doesn't happen very often, although the Knicks did make it all the way through.
They did.
And they were, I think, if I'm not mistaken, they were the 8th seed and lost in the finals.
So I have said since the trade deadline, I believe you have turned into the best defensive team in all of basketball. But who is your featured defensive player on both the perimeter and the interior? It's Jared Vanderbilt, and he was a sweet pickup from Minnesota by Rob Pelinka. Jared Vanderbilt is tricky for you because he is becoming an offensive liability.
Yes.
So Golden State, as they are wont to do, they will just shame you. If they don't respect you, they will they will Caitlin Clark you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They will put it. They will.
And Kevon Looney, you got him.
They'll do this to you, right?
Yeah.
And they started doing it to Jared Vanderbilt, and all of a sudden, Darvin Ham is saying, "Uh-oh, I don't know if I can't play him."
We can't allow him to play 5-on-4.
Okay. So is that a problem? Is that going to be a problem against this team that can shoot threes? You know, can you? How are you going to offset this? You need him? In fact, if I'm Darvin Ham, I play Jared Vanderbilt some on Jokic because I think he can bother Jokic to a degree.
I think LeBron will play some on him. I think AD obviously will start on him. I think you start Vandal for the simple fact you want him to guard Jamal Murray to start with. Yep. And then, you still have Austin Reeves. D'Lo is not much of a defender, so I don't know where you can hide him. Because you could hide D'Lo some. Yeah. Because the thing was with Clay is not an off-the-dribble guy. He's just catch and shoot. Okay. So we kind of know where he's going to be.
All right.
You don't want D'Lo on 6'10", Michael Porter, because he's going to post him up. You don't want him on Aaron Gordon. He's 6'8" with a big frame. So maybe you can put him on Caldwell Pope. Okay.
All right. So now to my biggest issue with your team. I've said this from the start. I know the whole team got revamped, so it's maybe psychologically revamped, but I don't see that you have a closer. I don't see that you have a closing mentality. I don't see that you have a closing rotation that works consistently. And you've been fortunate for the most part because you didn't get faced with a lot of closing opportunities where you had to do this.
Yes, we did. Because remember, we was down to Memphis, and guess what happened? They closed that game. Remember, and LeBron went high off the glass, get into overtime. They won in overtime. Okay. You remember Game 4 against Golden State?
Do you remember Game 1 against Golden State?
Yeah, we won.
Okay, you're up 14 with 5:58 left.
Yes.
5:58. And down the stretch, LeBron misses 5 shots and turned it over by traveling and missed a free throw. And it came down to Jordan Poole's, as you know, bomb 3. Yeah, it was like a 27-footer, and he left it short on the front of the rim. Okay, you came that close to blowing that game. If you blow that game, I'm not sure you're going to win that series.
Well, Skip, you could make that case. I mean, if Philly doesn't win a Game 1, do they get swept? We could say that about anything. If this doesn't happen, that doesn't happen. The fact of the matter is that the Lakers won a very close ball game. They won a very close ball game in Memphis. They won a very close, tough ball game in Game 5 at the Lakers. Okay. Game 4. It went to overtime.
I even remind you the play-in game that you had against the T-Wolves. Remember this? And down the stretch, LeBron missed a big 3 to go up 3 with 1:21 left. Then he had a turnover on a bad pass. then AD crazily fouled Mike Conley and he makes all three free throws.
Skip, you make it seem like the Lakers are the only one. Unless you're Sacramento, everybody has struggled at stretches down the stretch. That's not just the Lakers' problem.
Yeah, well, it is your problem. I believe you're going to have a harder time if these games are close, as I think they will be. I think we're about to see, because the teams are very evenly matched. It's kind of the best offense, to me, against the best defense. It boils down to that. And then how much offense can you generate on your end? And then how much defense can they generate on their end? That's what it's going to boil down to.
Well, their defense is their offense because they put so much pressure on you with Jokic and Murray.
I got it. But the odds are we're going to see, I don't know, 3 or 4 close games. And I just want to see your team. The one guy who can make late game free throws for you is Dennis Schroeder. I'm going to say it. I've been saying it all year. That's your magic man. If you can get him to the free throw line late in games, he will close games for you. So that's the antidote to Denver is Dennis Schroeder down the stretch. And you just said, well, I forgot about Dennis Schroeder. Well, I haven't, because I've told you from the start, he's the missing link at the end of games for you. Yeah. So it's going to come down to that. But in the end, it just feels like it's Denver's year. It feels like if you give them 4 home games to your 3, they're just going to pull it off. And I will not be at all surprised if it stays home and home all the way through.
Could possibly.
Yep.
But I think if it comes down to Game 7, I'm not picking against LeBron in Game 7.
Okay. At Denver.
You'd be foolish to do that also.
Well, I wouldn't bet against Denver at Denver after what I've seen all year. Whew.
What have you talking about 1 year, I'm talking about what have you seen, what have your eyes told you for 20 years?
I'm taking Denver. That's what my eyes would tell me.
Yeah, they would tell you, okay.
Okay, because your guy needs to rest a lot on defense. That's
well, he had his rest.
Yeah.
He got, hold on, when they play Friday? So we got Saturday, Sunday, Monday. You know what happens when we get extra days of rest, not right?
You